The United Kingdom officially left the European Union on February 1st. There is a transition period until December 31st, with no changes for citizens and businesses on either side of the English Channel. In the meantime, the European Union and the United Kingdom are negotiating the terms of a new partnership agreement. The final content of the negotiation remains uncertain. The risk of a Brexit without an agreement on future relations remains, and even if an agreement is reached, the situation will fundamentally change in many areas. As an example, I'm talking here today about Brexit and services from the perspective of a Belgian company. So, I'm providing services in the UK. Will I be able to continue doing business as usual from January 1st? As of January 1st, the freedom of establishment and the freedom to provide services as set out in the EU treaties will no longer apply to EU individuals and companies operating in the UK. Without a partnership agreement between the EU and the UK before December 31st, World Trade Organization rules will govern trade between the EU and the UK. The General Agreement on Trade and Services, that's the GATS, will apply to trade and services. This agreement provides a basis for protection. So if you want to provide services to the UK, you need to know the exact rules that apply. You can do this by looking at what is in the UK and EU GATS specifications, that's list of obligations and lists of exceptions to Article 2 obligations. The UK country fact sheet gives you an overview of the regulatory system the UK applies to overseas service providers. Companies that sell services will also have to adapt to possible changes in regulations after the transition phase. The IRIS, that's the Index of Restrictiveness of Trade in Services, is a means of finding out more about UK regulations that discriminate against foreign service providers. IRIS is an OECD database that contains information both at the horizontal level and for the various sectors examined. My service provider is based in the UK. What will change for me from January 1st? As of January 1st, the freedom of establishment and the free movement of services as enshrined in the EU treaties will no longer apply to individuals and companies from the UK operating in the EU. Approvals issued by the British authorities as part of the EU internal market are no longer valid in the Union from January 1st. This change is of particular importance in the areas of financial services, transport, audiovisual media, and energy services. In order to gain access to the EU market, UK service providers and UK-based professionals must demonstrate that they comply with all rules, procedures, and/or permits that might be required for foreign nationals and/or companies based outside of Germany, Belgium, and so on to provide services in the EU subject to the EU. These requirements may be contained in EU law or, more often, in national regulations, but are subject to the EU's obligations under the General Agreement on Trade and Services, the GATS, of the World Trade Organizations, the WTO, and the Agreement on the Future Relationship with the UK. So, if I have a Belgian company and I'm a customer of a UK financial institution, what will change for me from January 1st? Much uncertainty remains about the future relationship between the EU and the UK. At the end of the transition period, European financial institutions will a priori no longer be able to offer services in the UK via the European passport system. Likewise, it will no longer be possible for UK financial institutions to gain access to the EU market through their existing licenses. The financial institutions must complete their preparatory work and adapt to the regulatory reality in force on January 1st. In order to ensure the continuity of their activities and the risk of an interruption in customer services or the effects on risk management, that means liquidity risk, access to capital markets and market infrastructure, continuation of derivative contracts, etc., etc. The NBB and FSMA have communicated their expectations regarding the preparatory work for Brexit to the Belgian financial sector on several occasions. By January 1st, at the end of the transition period for the UK, financial market participants whose activities could be affected should have fully implemented their preparatory measures to mitigate the risks resulting from the end of the transition period. All entities should also have adequately informed their customers of the possible consequences. And as I could hear, some companies already have cancelled some accounts on the continent. I have a Belgian company and I am a customer of a UK insurance company. What will change for me from January 1st? UK insurance companies will no longer be able to use their European passport to offer services in Belgium in the event of a no-deal Brexit. This means that these insurance companies will no longer be allowed to provide services in Belgium or to make online sales based on their licenses. This rule applies to new contracts as well as to contracts that existed before the end of the transition phase and which the policyholder wishes to renew from January 1st. To this end, insurance companies are required to assess the impact that the UK's exit from the European Union could have on their operations and insurance portfolio, and to take steps to ensure the continuity of the execution of existing contracts after Brexit. British companies can only offer contracts in Belgium through a branch approved and controlled by the National Bank of Belgium. This rule does not apply to Belgian subsidiaries of UK companies. These subsidiaries are companies under Belgian law that have already been approved and controlled by the National Bank of Belgium. And if you now want to know more about European or global politics, YouTube has chosen another of my videos right here for you on the end screen, right next to your chance to subscribe to my channel, which I hope you already did. I'll see you in my next video. Click and enjoy. Viel Spaß!